Welcome back to Caps Hockey Review. The Caps were back in action on Tuesday with the Islanders visiting DC. This was a slugfest between the two top teams in the Mass Mutual East Division, and it did not disappoint. A great game by the Capitals overall. Here we go. And off we go here on Caps Hockey Review. Big game on Tuesday, as I said. Islanders in DC battling it out for the top spot in the East Division. To start off, Eller still out with that injury. The Caps would go with that same lineup we saw on Monday, electing to go with the extra defenseman in Trevor Van Riemsdyk, only rolling with those three centers. Also, Tom Wilson, of course, still out. 6th game of the 7-game suspension, so we'll be getting him back here shortly. Can't come quick enough. Definitely missing him in the lineup. As I talked about before, both teams have been hot as of late. The Caps 9-1-0 in their last 10. The Islanders also 9-1-0 in their last 10. They've both been great. This is a great game. Here we go. I just want to start right off the hop here and discuss this Capitals lineup. Same as last night, of course, going with that 7th D, as I mentioned. Still only 3 centers, which I'll be honest, I was not a huge fan of when they first did it a couple games ago with Eller out. But it's really grown on me. And the reason why I think is because it changes the dynamic a little bit for this team. You have a team that's looked at as an offensive force and dangerous, but what you do really with kind of this rotating center is you're changing the lines without doing it constantly. You see the lines mix up slightly here and there, which I think is good for keeping opposing teams on their toes. Seeing a guy like Evgeny Kuznetsov skate on the 4th line with Hagelin and Hathaway kind of changes the dynamic a little bit. And same thing when you see Nick Dowd skate up on that 1st line with Ovechkin and Oshie. It's definitely a different look. So I really like it for that. Of course, I don't think this is going to continue once Eller's healthy. He'll slot back into his usual 3rd center spot. But for right now, I think it's a great way to go. Anyway, here we go. First period, I thought it was horrible for the Caps. It really was. I thought they were going to get absolutely run out of the building in this thing. They were lucky to get out of this first period 0-0. They really were. I thought the Islanders could have had it, 2-3 nothing after the first 10 minutes. They owned every bit of this game. They kept the puck in the Capitals zone. They were really almost playing keep away with the Capitals, and they were winning convincingly. However, Ilya Samsonov, first home start since last season. He was excellent in the first period, and he needed to be. That's the whole reason this was even a game. He stood on his head and just stymied the Islanders every turn. The Caps got a little better as that first period went along, I feel, generating some chances in that, last 5-ish minutes or so. So getting a little better as the period goes along, but definitely room for improvement come time for period 2. Period 2, I mean, it was night and day. The Islanders didn't do themselves any favors, taking 3 penalties, put that Caps power play on the ice enough times, you're going to pay, and that's exactly what happened. The Caps have been dominant in the second period this season. They dominate in every major offensive category in the NHL. They are first in goals in the second period, shooting percentage, and goal differential. All 3 categories are hugely important. Leading in the second period, it's the Caps period. It really is. I expected them to be a lot better, and they definitely were. Evgeny Kuznetsov definitely had the play of the period. A lot of creativity. I love it when he plays like that, faking that big old slapper and almost had the goal. I mean, clicked it off the inside of the post, but Oshie was there to clean up the rebound nice and easy. So I really, really liked the Caps second period. They looked better. They got to the power play, netting 2 goals in that second period, which was great. Alex Ovechkin also cashed in on the power play. 718th career goal, passes Phil Esposito for 6th all time. Big goal there for Ovi. He would also chip in on that Kuznetsov goal with a secondary assist. Great period overall for the Caps. Didn't really give the Islanders too much in terms of scoring chances. Samsonov didn't have to be as good in that second period. Probably a good thing because the Caps really needed to find some consistency in the offensive zone, and they definitely did that, I feel. Off to the third period we go. The Caps started on the power play. The Islanders took a bad penalty at the end of that third period. I believe it was Scott Mayfield took a bad roughing penalty. You know, Barry Trotz was not happy about that. They're going in 2-0. Not a good way to start that third period. You need a comeback. Not a great way to start. So we know it's the Caps. We know they're on the power play. What do? They score. And Nicholas Backstrom sitting on the back door. He's done this all season. Teams get so preoccupied with covering Alex Ovechkin on that left point that they just kind of leave that left side of the ice down lower toward the net open. And Backstrom has scored countless goals that way this season. I mean, he's been great, and it's great the Caps are finally finding ways to get other players in those dangerous positions on the power play besides Ovechkin. It definitely makes that power play more, I should say, less one-dimensional. Everything about the third period was great too. A little bit less offensive from the Caps, but that's okay. They're up 3-0. Again, like I said yesterday, they get into kind of this defensive mode in the third period. You don't need to score a ton of goals. You're up 3. Let's sit on it if we can. Let's play smart hockey. Let's make sure we're getting the puck deep in their zone and forcing them to take the puck the length of the ice to get to our net. And that's exactly what they do. So we saw the game tighten up quite a bit that third period, of course, both on the ice, and the refs really were not having too many of these minor infractions. We saw a soft holding call against Jacob Vrana. This was 50 gallons a week sauce. I mean, if this was a hold, I am the Prime Minister of Great Britain. That was absolutely not a hold. But unfortunately, it does lead to a Caps goal against. Ilya Samsonov, the shutout's busted, but it's kind of a lucky bouncer. Richard Panik was trying to get his stick in the lane, accidentally tips the puck, changes the direction, gets in. Not much Samsonov was doing on that one, but it's okay, that happens. He looked great the rest of the game. I feel that the Capitals really beat the Islanders at their own game come that third period. I mean, the Islanders had their chances, but they were just kind of stymied. The Caps didn't really take that huge offensive approach. Like I said, we're going to play smart, and this is exactly what Barry Trotz does with the Islanders and what he did with the Capitals. He's going to force the other team to go the entire length of the ice if they want to score a goal, and that's exactly what the Caps did. Definitely, probably a frustrating game for Trotz and that entire Islanders team. They've had their way with a lot of teams during this win streak, and they finally, ran into a wall a little bit here. So it was really good to see the Caps hold off the Islanders. The Islanders don't have a ton as far as what you would think of as superstar offensive talent. You have Matthew Barzal, who is an extraordinary talent, but beyond that, you don't necessarily have too many more of those superstar level guys. But what they do have, there's a lot of guys in that lineup that are just consistently solid. You have guys like Anders Lee, Josh Bailey, Brock Nelson, Anthony Beauvillier, Jordan Eberle. There's a lot of offensive talent there, and the Caps really did a good job to shut that down. Notable stats for the game. I mean, pretty even. I mean, that's kind of what we expected, what I expected. A pretty tight game. Both teams had 22 shots. Pretty predictable. I didn't feel there would be a ton of shots either way in this game, and 22 is not really a huge number in terms of shots in an NHL game. Power plays. Caps cash in 2 of 4, 50%, clicking at one of the highest percentages in the league, and they keep it going. Goes to show, it's been said 1,000 times. The Caps power play is going to score goals if you keep giving them their chances, and they did tonight. The Islanders 1 for 2. Like I talked about, kind of that lucky bouncer right in front of Samsonov. The Caps really did a good job overall in the D zone after that first period, including being on the penalty kill. I thought they were great. They did what they needed to do. They didn't try to do anything extra. They didn't try to do anything fancy, anything that was unnecessary. They did the job they needed to do, and that's really effective. Style points don't matter. What matters is that you get the job done, and they definitely did tonight. Bad stat for the night, face-off percentage. 36.6% as a team. Ouch. That's tough sledding. I mean, I talked last night about how they were great in the face-off dot, and granted, again, that was against the Sabres. They're not really that great. Beating them in any category really does not carry the same weight as it does against a team like the Islanders. The Islanders, on the other end, are very good in the face-off dot, and we still see the Caps have some work to do in that category to get caught up to where other teams of their status are in terms of face-offs. Again, moving on to notable players. Alex Ovechkin doing it again. 1 goal and assist tonight. Really, really good. 718th career goal, like I said, passes Phil Esposito for 6th all time. Also netted his 1,300th NHL point on his secondary assist on the first goal of the game. Evgeny Kuznetsov was all over the ice again. I thought he was great. Hopefully this continues, this upward trend, this, making a difference every night, because these last 2 games, he's really, really been great. He had a great assist on that first goal, probably could have had the goal himself, but great game overall from Kuznetsov. Also, in the last video, I mentioned notable milestones. I did accidentally leave out Kuznetsov. That's my bad. He actually netted his 400th NHL point last night against Buffalo. So sorry for that, Kuzi. I like he's ever going to see this, but still think you're great. Keep it going. So overall, I think the Caps did an outstanding job in this game. It was a bit of a slow start, which is kind of to be expected. They played last night. They traveled back from Buffalo. You're playing against a team that had an extra day of rest between games. A slow start was pretty much, in the cards for the Capitals, and Ilya Samsonov did a great job to answer that challenge. Like, in the words of Joe Beninati, he made a few great sparkling saves against that Islanders team. So, great job overall to get out of that first period, and then the Capitals just took control for the remainder of the game. Didn't really give the Islanders any quality scoring chances after that. Had a lot of time in the Islanders zone with good puck possession, good puck movement. That's what we like to see. That's the Capitals team that is the dangerous team. That's the team that's going to win the Stanley Cup if they can get to it. So, great job overall tonight. Looking ahead, they got the Rangers back-to-back Friday and Saturday. The Rangers 5-4-1 in their last 10 games. Not that great. everybody kind of expected the Rangers, after doing what they did last season, kind of as a dark horse team, they kind of expected the Rangers to take that next step, especially considering having the first overall pick, getting Alexis Lafreniere in the draft. They really have underachieved this season. But with Artemi Panarin finally back in the lineup this week after attending to some personal matters, this Rangers team is a danger team. I'll tell you, they are going to be a tough team, and we've seen it with the Capitals. The Capitals have not beat them yet this season. Both games really have not looked good for the Capitals. They need to find a way to beat this Rangers team. This Rangers team is down right now, but mark my words, they are not out. They are a very skilled team, and sooner or later, they're going to find their footing. It's just a matter if they're going to have enough time left in the season to make a run at the playoffs. But if they can get on track here, they'll be a dangerous team as well. Overall, great game from the Caps once again. I think this moving forward is going to be a good challenge for the Caps, and we'll see how they answer it.